This is macOS Ken.
Another Apple target shifts higher. Pricing and production news for Apple in India. And Apple's first retail union in the U.S. may finally have a deal. It is Monday, the 29th of July, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Another Apple target has gone higher for the same reason the rest have. Barron's had Raymond James analyst Srini Pajjuri issuing a note late last week calling for a multi-year upgrade cycle for iPhone driven by Apple Intelligence. The way the analyst sees it, Apple is a more stable AI play for volatile times. Pajjuri has an outperform rating on Apple shares. The analyst used the note to raise their price target on the shares from $200 to $250. More goings-on for Apple in India. After last week's cut on import duties for some iPhones as well as components, a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has lowered the price of iPhones in the country by 3 to 4%. According to the report, the price reduction marks the first time Apple has decreased prices on its Pro models in India, with the cuts ranging from about $3.60 US for models like the iPhone 13, 14, and 15, to up to roughly $71.70 for the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Perhaps bigger than that, a piece from Cult of Mac says Apple may actually look to build iPhone 16 Pro in India. Source looks kind of sketchy. The Cult cites a report from someplace called Money Control. Never heard of it, tried to look into it, though it wouldn't let me access content or even an about page without agreeing to some truly horrendous terms of service. And yet, worth considering for a few reasons. While Apple's never made a Pro phone outside of China, the company came close to producing iPhone 15 in China and India simultaneously last year. India did just lower the import tariffs on iPhone components, and Apple would probably like to not have all of its Pro phone production in any one nation's basket. The Cult of Mac piece does not suggest that iPhone 16 Pro would launch simultaneously from India and China. Rather, the report sees the Pro phones coming from the subcontinent later in the year. Sketchy. Not crazy. Back now to Mac Rumors, which has word of another production possibility for India. The site cites a report from the Economic Times that says Foxconn is said to be exploring the possibility of assembling iPads at its facility in Tamil Nadu. The piece points out this would mark a significant expansion from Foxconn's current focus on iPhone production in India and reflects confidence in India's growing supply chain capabilities, aligning with Apple's broader strategy to diversify its manufacturing base away from China. So many eggs, so few baskets. Here's one you may have thought you would never hear. Apple has reached its first contract deal with the retail union representing the store at Maryland's Towson Town Center. According to a piece from TechCrunch, the 3-year agreement includes scheduling improvements, average raises of 10% over the life of the contract, a severance clause and limits on contracted employees, and a transparent disciplinary process. Of course, it is a union and a major corporation, so there are I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed. The report says the union is scheduled to vote on the deal on the 6th of August. Still, the union seems to see victory at hand. The negotiating committee for the union is quoted in a statement saying, "By reaching a tentative agreement with Apple, we are giving our members a voice in their futures and a strong first step toward further gains." Apple has agreed to abide by AI safeguards requested by the current White House administration. A piece from Engadget says the Cupertino company has joined Amazon, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and others, going along with guidelines announced by the Biden administration last year. According to the report, those who make the pledge have committed to abide by 8 guidelines related to safety, security, and social responsibility, including flagging societal risks such as biases, testing for vulnerabilities, watermarking AI-generated images and audio, and sharing trust and safety details with the government and other companies. And if they don't, not only is the agreement voluntary and not enforceable, Engadget says it will expire after Congress passes laws to regulate AI. Apple has seeded a new version of a couple of developer betas, though not an updated version exactly. I told you last week that Apple had made available the 4th developer betas of iOS and iPadOS 18, among others. Now a piece from Mac Rumor says they have done it again. The first 4th betas were released last Tuesday. The second were released last Friday. No word on what was different between the releases, unless you count the build numbers. It looks like the first Apple Intelligence features in iOS 18 will be later than initially expected. Lots of little hints in a piece from 9 to 5 Mac, and a bit of leaking from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. We'll start with what 9 to 5 Mac saw missing. First, the site says Apple quietly changed the wording on its developer site. Quite a while ago, it seems. The Apple Intelligence landing page, created on the 10th of June, told developers that Apple Intelligence would be available in an upcoming beta this summer. That is not there now, though, and surprisingly hasn't been since the 13th of June, according to the report. But wait, there's more. Gone. While code tied to Apple Intelligence had started to show up way under the hood in the 3rd developer beta of iOS 18, the 4th developer beta has seen Apple clean all of that out. All of that made the 9 to 5ers wonder whether Apple would move its first AI features to iOS 18.1, similar to the way it moved Stage Manager from iPadOS 16 to iPadOS 16.1 a couple of years ago. That brings us to Mr. Gurman. A separate piece from 9 to 5 Mac has Gurman indicating that Apple will be delaying Apple Intelligence to iOS 18.1, although a developer beta with some of the features should be launching as soon as this week for iPhone and iPad. Features like Image Playground and Genmoji are more likely to ship first, while other features like the new Siri and ChatGPT integration are not expected until next spring. If you had a problem with iCloud Private Relay on iPhone at the end of the week last week, it wasn't just you. Apple Insider had the service running somewhere between buggy and unresponsive from midday Thursday through Saturday evening. If you've lost track, the piece explains iCloud Private Relay, available as part of iCloud Plus, encrypts your data so that rogue sites can't track your location. Specifically, it sends Safari requests through 2 separate secure routes so that no one can see where you are or what sites you're browsing. When it went kaput, though, Apple Insider says it left some Safari users unable to search. Well, on iPhone anyway. No word on how widespread the issue was, nor on why Safari on iPhone was affected, while Safari on the Mac seems to have dodged the issue. Apple Music has an interesting new analytics offering for musicians. 9 to 5 Mac says the audio streaming service is launching a radio spins feature, letting artists and labels know when and where their music is being played on radio stations around the world. That includes over 40,000 radio stations from more than 200 countries and regions, according to iTunes Connect. There's also a premium radio spins experience, offering deeper, more expanded radio insights including spin data across countries by market, daypart, station, artist and song, and more. Artists can also create custom airplay reports, according to the company. I'm curious how they are keeping track. Another convoluted Apple TV Plus subscription offering, a piece from iMore, says Amazon-owned Twitch is giving away 3-month trials of the Apple subscription service when people either subscribe to a Twitch creator or gift a subscription to a Twitch creator. There are a number of caveats, including a fairly standard one. Current Apple TV Plus subscribers are ineligible for the 3 months free. The promo runs from noon Pacific tomorrow, Tuesday the 30th of July, through noon Pacific on the 19th of August. The big news from San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend, RDJ is coming back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, Robert Downey Jr. will not be playing Iron Man. He won't be playing Tony Stark. He'll play the big bad in the next 2 Avengers movies. If you're wondering what that has to do with Apple, the answer is nothing, but it would be stupid to mention Comic-Con and not mention that. The big news as far as Apple is concerned at Comic-Con, the 2nd season of Silo has a premiere date. Apple's video streaming service issued a press release about the announcement over the weekend. For those who have forgotten, the company explains Silo is the story of the last 10,000 people on Earth, their mile-deep home protecting them from the toxic and deadly world outside. However, no one knows when or why the silo was built, and those who try to find out face fatal consequences. With such a small population, you wouldn't think there'd be room for new cast members, and yet Steve Zahn is being added to the cast for Season 2. He'll join returning stars Rebecca Ferguson, Common, Tim Robbins, and a host of others. 10 episodes slated for Season 2. The first one will hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 15th of November. They'll run one per Friday through the Season 2 finale on the 17th of January. And finally today, Midsummer is looking pretty good for Apple TV Plus. A piece from Cult of Mac has 3 shows from the Cupertino streamer on the U.S. top 10 TV charts for both Reelgood and JustWatch. For the week of the 18th of July, Reelgood puts the Rashida Jones RoboPal mystery series Sunny at number 9. Natalie Portman Moses Ingram Mind Trip Lady in the Lake is at number 7. And the Jake Gyllenhaal murder mystery courtroom drama Presumed Innocent turned up at number 3. Flipping over to JustWatch for the 15th of July through the 21st, Sunny came in at number 10, Lady in the Lake was number 8, and Presumed Innocent took the bronze again, coming in at number 3. Quick aside, I don't know that Time Bandits is going to break the top 10, but I really hope it does. First 2 episodes hit Apple TV Plus midweek last week. Speaking as a devotee of the Terry Gilliam movie, this is not that, but this is not bad. Looking forward to seeing where it goes. And when. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Cha.